Alright, so Tesla Holiday Update 2022 was not as big as previous years. As last year in 2021, we basically got a full overhaul to the UI, but we still got some great changes that overall has enhanced the experience of driving my Model Y. This here is a list of all of the changes that have rolled out in this update, and as you can see, there's quite a good amount to discuss. If you want, you can pause the video here to read through the list or check the link in the description to view all of these changes in a written format, because now we're going to go through one by one and discuss each of them more in depth. So the first big change in this update is the addition of Apple Music to Tesla's software. So there's actually an app in your vehicle that allows you to play music from your Apple Music library instead of having to connect your phone over Bluetooth. This is really no different than the Spotify app that's been built into Tesla's vehicles, but is basically now just pulling from your Apple Music account. You've got access to your library, your playlists, you can browse and stream music, radio stations, and everything that you'd expect from Apple Music, but it's now just coming directly from your car. The initial setup of your Apple Music account through your Tesla is super easy. You first have to take out your phone, scan the QR code on the screen, log in with your Apple account, authorize Tesla to access your Apple Music account, and then you're set. The car will automatically load your Apple Music library. This is something that I've been waiting for quite some time now, as I am an Apple Music user, and I actually subscribed to Spotify just so that I could have access to music directly through my car if I needed. So it's gonna be nice to cancel that subscription, but also have access to all of the songs I've added to my Apple Music library over the past 5, 6, 7 years, however long Apple Music has been around. Now here's the thing though, in using Apple Music and really even Spotify, I find that kind of navigating the UI is a little bit clunky. Personally, I think that these music apps are much better suited for using on a phone. Like, I can load music, playlists, albums, and everything through my phone a lot faster than trying to find it directly through the screen on my Tesla. Like, if I want to play a song and I tap the song on my phone, it plays instantaneously, but sometimes when tapping a song on my car, it takes a second to load and then starts playing. The cool thing about Apple Music streaming directly to your car is that it is in a higher fidelity, but you also have a lot more features built into the Apple Music app on your phone, being able to queue music, being able to sort your music by different types of categories, like being able to sort by recently added, being able to sort by artist, being able to sort by title. So there's a lot more power built into the app on your phone, but it is nice again to have that built into your car for those times where maybe someone is using my phone and I don't have access to it and I can change the music quickly. But I think personally, I'll be using my phone on the regular, and then if I need to, access the library through Apple Music on a time-to-time basis. Now moving on from here, this update has finally given us the ability to access the interior camera from the Tesla app when using Sentry mode or dog mode. When you go to view your live camera, another section has been added in the middle of the car to view your cabin remotely. This also gives you a look at the interior temperature of your car in case you have something inside the vehicle that needs to stay warm, like your dog, a pet, or maybe even some groceries. For privacy reasons, when the car detects that someone is in the vehicle, it disables the camera view so that anyone who has access to your Tesla account can't creep and see the inside of your car, which is definitely a nice touch. Now moving on down the list, we also have 3 updates to like the game and Toybox and arcade section. So we've now got updates to light show, so you can actually schedule your light show and sync it with other vehicles. You've also got updates to actual games inside of the car itself, and you've also got an update to the Rainbow Road kind of Easter egg, where you can always have the Rainbow Road turned on without having music, so it can just basically be a default option through your car. So just kind of some fun little updates here to the arcade and Toybox section of your Tesla. Now moving into a more functional change, when using the auto climate, you now have the ability to set the fan speed to low, medium, and high, which is a really nice touch. If you instead use the manual controls, you'll still have more finite control to change the fan speed between 1 to 10 like always. I pretty much only use the auto climate feature inside of my car because it just makes it easy, right? Like, I can tell it what temperature I want it to be inside of the cabin, and it makes all the necessary changes for me to make sure that it stays at that temperature. I find it to be kind of annoying though sometimes that the fan speed would be too low, or maybe it was too high and the airflow coming out of the vents was kind of annoying. So now that I can make that change and make it lower or make it higher depending on what I need is definitely a nice touch. Now the next update is something that actually surprised me. It's integration with MYP, which manufactures garage door openers that can be accessed remotely from an app on your phone. This connectivity has made its way into Tesla's vehicles, so now when you pull up the settings menu, there's a garage door icon in the top right corner of the screen. The initial setup is pretty easy. You just pull out your phone, scan the QR code on the screen like like you did with Apple Music and then sign into your account. Now, it's worth noting that this is not a free service, so you actually have to pay a subscription directly to MyQ. It's not included within your Tesla premium connectivity, so again, it's a separate subscription that's offered through MyQ. This subscription is called MyQ Connected Garage, and the pricing really isn't much at all. So it's $45 for 1 year, $179 for 5 years, and $299 for 10 years. You also get a 30-day free trial, which is what I'm using now until I decide which of these tiers that I want to go with, because even though you save money spending the $299 for 10 years, who knows if I'm gonna have the same garage door opener in that amount of time. Now, the interface in your vehicle is pretty straightforward, right? So once you log into your account and get everything set up, you've got the ability to set your garage location. You can set your garage to auto open at a certain distance, auto close when leaving, and you can set your car's mirrors to auto fold when pulling in. If you set the garage to automatically open and close though, you'll never have to do anything, which is really awesome. I think if you have a MyQ connected garage door opener, this is a no-brainer to go with. Even if you want to manually control your garage door, it's really snappy. Like once you press open, it opens right away. There's no lag in between executing a command and that thing actually happening. Now, something that I've actually found to be pretty intuitive and is something I didn't think I'd actually like as much as I do is the auto turn signals, which is now available on the Model 3 and Model Y, but has been available on the refreshed version of the Model S and X. So within the lights menu section, you can now select the auto option, which allows the car to automatically disable your turn signal when executing a lane change or merge. Think about it, it's actually pretty easy for the car to determine because it's able to see the different lanes with its cameras. When using full self-driving, if you have it on your vehicle, it'll automatically change lanes and turn off that turn signal when it makes the change. This makes the process of driving super easy, which is what Tesla is aiming to do. Make it as mindless of a process as possible until they quite literally have the car completely drive for you. There are some times where this feature can be a little bit finicky, and I've noticed that the turn signal turns off prematurely. So for example, if I'm driving down the road, I've got a 3-lane road and I'm trying to get over into the right-hand lane to then make a turn from the middle lane. When I get over and put my turn signal on, it thinks I'm just trying to merge and will turn off the turn signal when I'm actually trying to merge and then make a right turn. For the most part though, I think that it's a really handy feature, especially with all the highway driving that I do, so I think I'm going to continue to use it. Now, moving on from here, the next few changes introduced in this update are to the user interface to kind of switch up how you interact with information in your car. For example, calls moving from your phone to your vehicle now require you to transfer them, which kind of feels like an extra step that doesn't need to be implemented. On the topic of phone calls, you can now search your contacts as well, which yes, is a nice feature to have, but typically when making a call, I just end up using my voice. It's a lot easier and a lot faster. Perhaps one of the biggest changes to the UI though is the reintroduction of media controls through cards, which now display closer to the driver where the visualization is on your middle screen, so it's just towards the bottom left corner of that display. Now, the first card, as I mentioned, is the media controls, which used to sit just under the map, and I think it took up way too much space across the screen. Now it's in a much better spot to easily reach from the driver's seat, and sure, you could use the controls on the steering wheel, but from the screen, you can scrub through the song that you're listening to. You can swipe up to quickly change between sources and song choices. You can also turn on shuffle, repeat, adjust your sound settings, and a lot more. From here, you can swipe to show different information about your vehicle, like trip statistics and tire pressure. All this stuff could be important to a driver on the daily, so it's nice that it's easier to access than digging through the menu section. Now, if you find it annoying though, or if it's just getting in the way of the visualization, you can always swipe down and it'll minimize into the dock area down there at the bottom. You can of course bring this back up at any time you want by tapping on that icon in the dock. I think that bringing back these cards was definitely the right move. It's now going to make interacting with your car on the daily a lot easier, but I wish that they gave us a little bit more functionality. For example, I'd love like a small abbreviated version of the energy app down there in the bottom corner, like being able to swipe across and see how much energy I'm using now through the climate or through my driving habits. Maybe see like, if I'm overusing or underusing energy, or maybe even just a small little graph. Again, it doesn't need to be the whole entire screen. I hate having to pull up my energy app and it blocks the entire map. I wish that they could just kind of put it down there in a small card. I think that that would be an awesome change or an awesome addition. Now, speaking of the map, there's also been some UI tweaks here as well. We now have a 2-menu setup with your directions being displayed at the top, while your trip information and settings are here at the bottom. It's all the same as what we've had before, but it's now just split up into, again, those 2 different sections. Personally, I like this change as the buttons you interact with are easier to reach being down here at the bottom when sitting in the driver's seat. The letters across the map are now displayed in a larger, more bold font, and the current road that you're on has now been moved into the bottom right corner. The final couple of things that I want to mention here deal directly with the Tesla app itself. The first is kind of silly. You can now activate a fart noise directly from your Sentry mode menu, which is kind of fun funny to prank people as they're walking past and see their reaction. A bigger change that I noticed though is an alert next to your battery when charging, which lets you know the status of your battery's condition. In this case, my car's battery was too cold to charge at its maximum speed. This charger I was plugged into at the time of taking the screenshot was an Electrify America station that was capable of delivering 350 kilowatts, but instead I was only receiving 58 kilowatts. This is the one issue with going to a charger that the car doesn't know about. Like when I'm navigating to a supercharger, my car will precondition the battery to get it ready to charge super fast. Now from here, the next couple of things that I want to mention are vehicle specific and also software specific. So these are not updates that were made to Tesla's entire fleet of vehicles, but instead it depends on what car you have and what software you're running. So for example, we did get some changes to the full self-driving beta. So if you're running full self-driving and if you've got the beta, there were some changes and improvements made there. You've also got Steam added on the refreshed Model S and Model X, as well as Bluetooth controller support, so you can now play video games directly through your car. You've also got Zoom added to vehicles, but I found that certain cars don't have Zoom yet. Like my buddy that has a Model S has Zoom on his vehicle, but me with my Model Y, I don't have Zoom on my vehicle. And finally, my vehicle, Model Y Performance, we now have track mode, which is awesome. I've really been waiting for this to be added to my car. Not that I'm going to be using on the daily, but it is going to be cool that if I take my car out to the track, I can have much better control over its performance, its handling, and it's also going to perform differently so that it is tuned perfectly, or it's prepped perfectly and conditioned perfectly to actually handle the abuse that it's going to take on the track. And so guys, there we have it. That is everything that's been added in this update, this go around for Tesla's holiday update. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this update down below in the comment section below. I'm super pumped about like Apple Music and all the UI changes, and I just can't wait to see how Tesla's vehicles continue to get better with all of these updates. Anyway guys, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.